Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. For the second year in succession, Team Scump takes down the championship of the off-season Black Ops 2 Throwback Tournament Invitational. Scump defends his crown, lifts the trophy yet again. Loads of storylines going on in this one. A different championship Sunday MVP, it's got to be said. And also Crimsix rage quitting during a game of Capture the Flag. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate. Lots going on right now, really, given the fact that lots of these teams still haven't said anything as to what their roster is going to be. I'm sure that some of the players such as JurNii Temp were, hoping maybe to have a good performance here at the Invitational to show some of these organizations he's the guy to get. Now, Surge, we're pretty sure what they're doing. The other three, we still really don't know as it stands. But look, the beta comes out pretty soon. There's the Halo World Championship after that. I'm sure there's got to be some updates on these teams over the coming days, you would think. But yes, as always, Hitch & Co did a phenomenal job putting this tournament together. Well over $200,000 raised. I know that Pringles dropped like a massive 75k donor as well towards the end. So just beautiful stuff, bigger and better every year. And it was just great fun to watch as always. Looking back at these throwback games, Black Ops 2 is just so good. Now, I know there was some talk about, shall we say, the input lag and stuff like this, and we'll get into that a little bit more later today. And this is just such a classic moment here from Clayster, right? So this was the losers final. So it kicked off a little bit later in the day than it did on the Saturday. If you guys want to go back and watch any of the VODs for this, you can pretty much go to Scump's Twitch channel and look back at like the past broadcast, and I think you'll be able to go through and watch it basically, unless they take it down. I'm sure there'll be some highlights popping up on YouTube as well over the coming days as well. So anyway, this was the losers finals between effectively Complexity, as it kind of was, Crim, Clay, Aches and John. So not quite Complexity, but not too far away. And then you had the other, well, Najot's team. It was meant to be Najot's team with Arcetes instead of Najot, Attach Methods and Zuma. And this game one was, like, Zuma's team was winning this comfortably. I think it was like 170 to 100 or something. They were up big time. And again, an absolutely classic conclusion here on Raid Harp when it goes all the way down to P1. Obviously, in Black Ops 2, it worked a little bit differently to how it did in the more recent games. Treyarch, in this game, you had a 10-minute timer, and either you got to 250 or the 10 minutes ran out, and that was it. You guys probably remember that for Black Ops 3 and beyond, there's a 5-minute timer, but if someone is collecting time, then the timer stops counting down. So games in this title quite often didn't go to 250, and you'd have moments like this, which, it's pretty fun at times, but it also meant that sometimes there'll be like 10 seconds left on the clock and one team's winning by 12, so it's mathematically over before it's actually over. So I think Treyarch made a good correction, Black Ops 3 and beyond, but nonetheless, fantastic scenes. Really does feel like classic COD when you've got Clay, screaming across the stage after making a nice little comeback happen here. There was also this in Game 2 between Team X and Team Zuma, where they were about to win the Search and Destroy, and Clay comes over and knifes Crimsix and takes him down and steals his defuse. But yeah, they were obviously taking this pretty seriously. These guys had lost to Team Scump on the Saturday, wanted to make it back to the grand finals and get revenge in the grand finals. Before the finals as well, there was these tequila shots they did. Look at Shotzzy's face here. I know that it's not massive, but like just focus on Shotzzy's face after he takes this shot here. And yeah, someone needs to get this man some live. I mean, this is actually hilarious. So anyway, Shotzzy was focused up for the grand finals after this one. I mean, you gotta love it, to be honest. And it was effectively Complexity versus OpTic. Okay, not quite, but not too far away. I mean, there were 5 members of the Complexity dynasty, and 3 of them were on that roster. Of course, Karma was also on the OpTic dynasty, and there was Karma and Scump there, and Crim was on the other side of the stage. So, it was all rather nice. And I think we probably knew who was going to win this one already, given the way that things had gone earlier on in the tournament. And there were some funny moments in this one. I'll share a few highlights for you guys in a couple of minutes. But yeah, especially in the Search and Destroy, Scump was going off. But as I said to you guys, Karma, man, this guy, again, like usually this was how his tournaments would go on the OpTic days, even before that. He was like, look, guys, get me to Sunday, and this is where I'm going to turn up and show how I can really play. And that happened again this tournament, right? I mentioned it in yesterday's video. I was like, look, Karma maybe wasn't frying on the Saturday, but on the Sunday, you can be pretty sure that Karma, come the grand finals, is going to be playing really well. And that's pretty much exactly what happens here. I mean, the end of this Express Search and Destroy, we had Karma gets one with the War Machine, gets the second kill on Clay, jumps back around the corner and guns down Crim for the 6-2 win. I mean, so many great highlights here. this was another one. So we're going to talk about this a little bit later today with the aim assist and stuff like this in the game. Karma completely humiliates Clay here. Clay drops down the window, whiffs all these shots. Karma turns around and just knifes him across the throat, really, and takes Clay down. So, yeah, I mean, there were some great moments caught on camera here. Some great casting moments, of course, as well. And, well, these are some more examples. Just some screenshots before I show you guys the highlights here. This was that standoff hardpoint. Scump 34 in 30. It was Karma, so Bobby 3 times he goes by here. 35 in 20 for the dub. And yeah, the slaying was pretty immense with these OpTic guys. There was also this ridiculous screenshot we'll get to in a second. Before that, though, we've got to mention the Crimsix rage quit moment. So they're playing CTF on the slums, and I mentioned CTF yesterday. Do people like it? Do people not like it? Personally, if it plays well, I'm a fan of keeping it around. CTF slums is like a classic map mode combination that works really well. There's a good side, there's a bad side, there's preferred flag routes, streaks come into play, fantastic stuff. But Crim was not happy being down at 5-0 with like a minute to go. Pred was on like an 8 streak here. Pred and Scump were going off, and Crim was having a hard time on the scoreboard, and he decided to call it a day, get out of the lobby. And people would say, oh, you know, come on, Crim, liven up a little bit, right? It's a charity event, at least play it out to its conclusion. And I kind of get that side of things. At the end of the day, the map was over anyway, and it just shows that these guys were still really competitive, right? I mean, there's no doubt that Pat was here to win, Clay was here to win, no doubt. But let's not forget Scump won it last season, and he was saying to his boys like Shotzzy and Pred, look, I need you guys to deliver for me here, because I've got a title to defend. And, you know, they haven't had too much experience playing this old school Black Ops 2 game, and of course, over time, Shotzzy and Pred were going to get the hang of it a little bit more. They were going to get better and better, probably. And there was this crazy map as well. There was actually a tie here, 234-234. Another beautiful kind of first hardpoint conclusion here to a raid hardpoint. I mean, yeah, crazy stuff. They had to replay this one. I did want to clarify one thing, because I know there's some questions about it yesterday, on exactly the team that's going to be playing for the new season, because the kickoff tournaments, as soon as the game launches, it's meant to be Scump, Pred, Shotzzy, and Zinni. That's meant to be the team before they're going to run the kickoff tourneys with. We know that Karma had come along and said, oh, Scump, drop Zinni, get me in instead type thing. But then after those kickoff tourneys happen, then Scump will go into content mode, I imagine. Whereas Methods and Bows, they still actually want to either compete in challenges or play those tournaments a little bit longer on. And then there'll be a different team with probably Zinni, Bows, I don't know what else they'll do, because Pred and Shotzzy will actually have to play in the real team. So this was a crazy scoreboard as well. I mean, have a look at this. To be fair, I'm pretty sure that Scump and the boys went up massively in this game, and they kind of just forgot how to play fundamental COD. Karma almost dropped 50, 49 in 21. He had 20 defends, which is nearly more than Patty P had kills. But fair play to the complexity guys, if you want to call them that, because they get outslayed dramatically here. I mean, what is this? John's minus 11, that's minus 12, minus 28, minus 30. They got outslayed by 30 kills, and yet they still managed to draw the game. And they actually won the replay. Paddy P went off here in the replay. He had like an 11 streak towards the start of this one, going on to the second hardpoint, and got fully streaked out. That was enough, actually, with Paddy P eventually going 43 and 29. So on the replay, they won it, and we then had to go to a final map of this series, which turned out to be a standoff, search and destroy. It was still 4-2 in favour of Team Scump at this point. Scump got a nice little ace. There was a good moment as well, actually, where John was in a 1 versus 3 to keep the tournament alive, and he did. He clutched the 1v3, killed Shotzzy, got a nice little 1v2 around these kind of the cube area of this bomb site, clutched it up, sent it to like 5-2, but in the end, it wasn't enough, and Team Scump got the dub.
Oh, they take the lead! They take the lead! Oh, game winner! Game winner! Game winner! Let's go, he's popping off! Let's go, baby! Let's go, baby!
And he talking that shit too. He talking that shit too.
No fake news. You still
playing BO4, huh?
Oh,
I've got streaks, baby.
Barlow with 2.
Game out.
oh, DB3.
All 3.
You can't pick me up this time.
Oh my, he wanted to end this game, bro.
Yo, he called game.
Oh my God.
The curse has... Sorry.
Streaks don't connect, but it's really about the mental game these teams are playing. You rotate around to the backside, you get the kills, you get in their head, and you break them down.
Let's go down to George on the 4 for a live update.
Ok, mi gente, estamos aquí 95-22. A ver qué tenemos que hacer. Tienen que empujar ahorita a ver qué hacen. All right, Blake, ¿qué tienes que hacer?
And see what I think they need to do more of here, George. We just need more rotation out of this team. I mean, right now it is an absolute bloodbath down there at the 40. It's Bobby 3 times. There's a reason he was a redshirt freshman, recruited fresh out of the gate, and he's just out there doing what he's always done. You
One
love
of
to
the
see him
finest
perform.
Canadians to join the Americans here on standoff, 126-22. This game is only at halftime, but still plenty of action here in the second half, Miles.
I haven't seen a hardboard get broken like that in a long time, Chris. I once watched my wife break a diving board in Cancun. Unbelievable stuff. These boys are cooked.
And just
Final 10, last hit now from Team Scump, trying to end the tournament here. They can
It's done!
Can't get it done. It's Barlow. Barlow's in. Is it enough to win it? Do they get the time?
it enough?
Do they get the tick? Tie game! Tie game! Tie game!
game! We are not done in Dallas.
Tie game.
It's an American accent. Would you like? Ideally from Dallas, Texas. Let me think real quick.
He went with the
I'm
demographic.
trying to think right now. I got Crimsix disconnected due to transmission, an error. Where I come from, we call that a rage quit.
War machine deployed.
That man has absolutely pulled the plug.
Friendly
That team was on life support to begin with, and now they're dead. Minute ago. They have him pinned. They have him trapped. It's clean. No, he's done. Last game.
Team Scump.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the hometown squad. Taking home the Black Ops 2 throwback. We got Team Scump, aka OpTic, Shotzzy, Karma, Scump, and the young gun, the new blood, Pred.
What a momentous day for Pred. Wins his first tournament for OpTic.
A little earlier than expected this year.
Let's hear it for OpTic, aka Team Scump.
So this was the championship bracket. Team Scump taking down Team Zuma early on. They only dropped 4 maps in the entire tournament. Ake's team, of course, had destroyed Team Bows. And then, Bows' team went out in that Game 7. And in the end of the best of 9 championship grand final, Team Scump get the win 5-2 over Team Ake's. And those are your champions. To be fair, coming in, I wasn't really sure which team I was going to pick between Crim's team, like Ake's and the Complexity guys, or these guys. I probably should have stuck with Scump, especially because Karma is basically he was the best player in Black Ops 2, and in the finals he had a 1.32 KD, and it was only expected that over the course of the weekend and every single match that they played, Shotzzy was going to get better and more comfortable, Pred was going to get better and more comfortable, and these guys get the win. So Scump will be well happy with that. Back-to-back championship wins here, and the first tournament win under OpTic for Pred. If that really means too much, it might not, but it's still interesting nonetheless. And as Pred says, Black Ops 2 TST champions. So Scump obviously buzzing with this result, right? We know that very shortly, actually, there's going to be another throwback-esque tournament. We think it's on Ghost. I'm not exactly sure whether that tweet that said, it had the Ghost, emoji in it, kind of implying that the OpTic Legacy team, which is basically the Dynasty with bows instead of formal, is going to play against the brand new OpTic Texas team on a throwback game. That was thought to have been Black Ops 3, but now that's going to be potentially Ghost. Not exactly sure, but yeah, lots of good content coming up just around the corner. And as Karma says, the MVP of, maybe not the tournament, you might have to give that to Scump, but certainly of the finals, Karma had, as I say, at a 1.32 KD. He was just going off this match. Even though it's just a bunch of us old heads playing for charity, there's nothing like that feeling up on the stage. Miss that, he says. And I know that his wife, Holly, was like, look, can someone just convince Karma to come back and compete again? Because I know that he's still got it. And sure, if we were still playing Black Ops 2 and some of these old school games, it's difficult to believe that some of these old guys, old heads, as he says, wouldn't still be competing at the top. But unfortunately, the way the games have gone the last few years has forced some of these guys into retirement, and the way the new games play doesn't maybe favour the playstyles of these old players so much as it used to. But yeah, man, always good times to see these boys in action. Looking forward to next year's one, of course. And lots of good content coming up still nonetheless. So very much enjoyed to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.